Can you sense the presence of awareness as yourself?
Yes.
And how is the stopping during the day? How does it work?
I do it 9 hours.
9 times.
9 times.
Hmm?
9 times.
Nine times. And when I stop, I saw the thoughts. I was like sit, and I saw all the conversations, and they were conversations in the mind answering, but I saw that, and then I asked the question, ¿quién es ese que observa los pensamientos? And there was a silence, but then I see that the mind was looking that silence was quickly. It's very fast because I asked the questions then, and then my mind was looking. Okay, this is the silence, and then I discriminate that thought. I think that was very hard because the man didn't want to stop. They say like, oh, no, in the next hour, in the next hour. And even to talk now, my mind was, no, not today, other day, you have to do a lot of things. So I stop and discriminate the thoughts.
Very good. This enables you to see how the mind is basically resisting being seen. It's like a thief. It doesn't want to be exposed. So it would do all the manipulation or tactics to avoid being seen.
Yeah.
The more you see it, because you're the seer, then the weaker the seen turns to be. Especially when you don't cooperate with that. And when you stop physically, you don't cooperate with it because the mind wants to, out of habit, to continue. Move to the next, move to the next. It's using the present moment to gain something in the future. So it is using it as a jump, as a jump to the next. Very good. And Gerardo?
Yes, for me was I think a little different than the last week, because when I stop, immediately stop is the same. I see like the thoughts go down immediately, but after that, in the last week, I start to feel the bodily sensation. For example, the heartbeat, no, the heartbeat, and I think like I feel like a little shame, vibration, a little vibration,
Yes.
And after that start the moving again. No, the last week I'm stop and see the thoughts like without energy, and after I can ask the question, and after that start the movement again. In this week, stop see the thoughts without energy, but after that start to feel the bodily sensation, the heartbeat, a little vibration, little vibration, and after that start to ask the question and start the movement again. But the difference was the bodily sensation.
Okay, that's good. So you're being more aware of the bodily sensation. This is very good. And how many times have you stopped during the day?
I think like 9 times maybe.
You
In the
count?
9, I don't have the count. No lo conté. I don't count. But I think like 9 times. But in the morning, stop for 1 hour. No, for like meditation. But I think in the stop for hour, the difference too, because was more easy to see the thoughts and ask the questions
Very good.
in the hour.
Very good. And any questions or anything arises that you like to ask?
Well, when the mind is looking that silence, because now I see that, so I discriminate.
You don't have just you watch the mind looking, so you just looking at this mind or the intention looking for the silence. As you watch it, without even activating another thought, it subsides, it disappears.
Okay.
It's like stop again. No, you stop the mind. After that start to look in the well. You stop, the silence is there, and after that the mind start to, oh, is the silence I there, the silence I find, and you stop again. No,
You just keep, it's like, because your everlasting awareness, then you just remain aware of the mind looking, and because this movement disappears after some time, and and you remain, or other thoughts appear. Yet if you discriminate that, then you just activated a thought. So it's not that you just watch it, and it will reveal from within, instead of having a particular tactic how to and what to do or not to do. So it's the more you keep watching without getting lost in the imagination, in the dream, then the awareness can shine through more and more and more. And this awareness is you. It's like, I can read a small paragraph. So here he's pointing that when you observe the eye, this eye does neither think nor will, it has no qualities, is neither man nor woman, has neither body nor mind. It has no trace of the person which you had in mind, the I that you had in mind as I. It simply is conscious of itself as I am. Not I am this, I am that, only I am. So here he's pointing the direct experience of the I observing itself as I. And he's pointing that this I does not think. So it never had a thought. It never will have any thought because it's motionless. It has no qualities, means no attributes. It's not a man nor a woman, so it's not any particular form. Has neither body nor mind. It has no trace of a person, which you had in mind. Now, it's simply conscious of itself as I am, not I am this, I am that, only I am. So far that's clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now he's continuing. He says, but be aware, it's not you who has this I consciousness as an object. This consciousness is your real I. So from the point of view of the ego, it can come and claim that I experience this consciousness. This is how the ego objectifies consciousness. When the truth is that consciousness is your real I. So it's not an I as a thought that thinks I am the one who's thinking, I am the one who has the preferences, I'm the one who is eating, walking, sitting, which referring to the body, or I'm happy, or I'm unhappy. So it's not that I. It's prior to that. It's a sense of I amness, or a sense of I, which is prior to the concept I. And this is you. So when the mind is looking for you, you recognize it. That the one who's looking is not you, and the one who's claiming you is not you either. Because you are this pure, everlasting consciousness. This pure being, I am, is the first glimpse of the real I, the self, which is by nature pure consciousness. When your attention is keen, is sharp, then you will discover simultaneously that there is not now and never has been a wrong I. It has always been the same real I. Only your mind has covered it up with the idea which it has about you as a person. Would you like me to go over this part again?
Yes. I understand, but you can tell me again, please.
When your attention is keen, sharp, or alert, then you will discover simultaneously that there is not now and never has been a wrong I. So you always been the same real I. It's not something you gain. So you don't gain the self. The self is always here, always present as yourself. And then he continues, it has always been the same real I. Only your mind has covered it up with the idea which it has about you as a person. I'm a separate entity, and this is my ideas, and this is who I am, and it's my history is who I am, and my stories, and my habits, and my beliefs. And I went through different life experiences, and all of it is just memories, thoughts appearing within the real I, which doesn't have any memories. It never undergone any change, any history, any time. It's timeless being.
Yes, the difference than I am that, I am this and that, and only I am. No, the real I, well, the I am, the sense of I am can see the ego when he want to say I am that, I am this, I have a life, I all. No, you can see the ego with the real, bueno, the with the I am, the I, the thought I. No, you can see the ego when he want to put the history. No, the I am that, I am this, I am many things. But the real I, when you look the ego many times, or you can do the difference with the ego and the thought I. You can see more and more the defects of the ego, no?
And see that the truth is that there is no such thing as ego. The ego is like a collection of ideas, yet each idea is just an idea. So the reason why it looks to be collected, because it's all around revolving the physical body. And it's all of them appearing within the real I, which is continuous. So this thought and that thought, it's like almost adding one thought after another. And then I say, I am all these kind of thoughts and memories and habits. Because basically the nature of the mind is to recollect ideas and latencies. If we look at we'll open this so we can see how there's notion. The only reason there is a notion that I continue as a separate entity is because all the thoughts are around the body. So you can see that when you think about objects of the world, you always are relating to it from your point of view as an individual entity. Because the way the objects are seen in the world is through the five senses. And the first object that you see is the physical body. So when you see it internally in your mind, let's say you see a dog. So you see the image, the conceptual image of the dog, that picture, And then you're the one who's seeing it inside, so you have a conceptual image of yourself mentally in relating to another conceptual image, which is the picture of the dog. So all the thoughts is like that. You're relating to the thought from the point of view that I am a conceptual image relating to other objects which are also conceptual images. And we're conditioned out of habit when we are perceiving the objects of the world to experience it the same way. Through a physical body, which I say my body, I perceive right now the screen of the computer. So now I'm relating. There is me, a physical form that perceives another physical object. Yes? Mentally, it happens the same way, just as images and pictures, conceptual images. Around the conceptual image of the body, now I form beliefs that I don't see them as images, which means it's preferences, morals, ethics, like people should not hurt each other. This is an idea now that I don't see a picture that is around the physical body relating to other physical bodies. Although I have an image too, what does it look like? People not hurting each other. So the notion that there, if we go back, is that there is a continuous separate self or separate I, is because most of the thoughts or all the thoughts are around the thoughts around the conceptual image of the body. And that body is called in the mind I. This is who I am, this is my body. So all the thoughts I have is around the body, even if it is about other objects, thoughts about objects, still I'm relating to them exactly like in the waking state between two objects.
Okay, because always when you think when you think about the objects of the world, always is in the point of view of the I, no, the ego. When you judge the other people, or you judge the whatever in the is because I think today don't do that, or I think they don't hurt each other or whatever. But always because I think, no, always I'll say I is my like individual entity, no.
Yes, and it's all related to the physical body, because since I'm young, I'm conditioned to judge from a point of view of I am a physical body. Whether it's a little body, then it's a more adult body, it's the same. So later on, when it's only in my mind, I have the same conceptual image of a body, seeing the other thoughts about other bodies, other people. Because in the mind, I have the same senses. The sense of hearing, the sense of touch, the sense of sight, taste, and smell. So I can see another image or another thought about a person. So it's always associated, like attached, connected to a form. Yes? Because the thoughts are made from name and form. Form, it's what I perceive me as a form, a physical body, and other objects is another form. And they are all given names. So it's between my conceptual image and other conceptual image. And now I either like the conceptual image or dislike the conceptual image from a point of view of a conceptual image. Or I like this conceptual image from a point of view of a conceptual image, or dislike it, that conceptual image, from the same point of view of a conceptual image. And as long as I think this is who I am, basically I think that that I really exists. Yet really, if I look closely, it's just an image. Then one has to question, am I really an image? And when the image disappears, what remains real? A sense felt experience that is not an image. And is that sense felt experience, is it not a sense of I or I am? And even when I see a thought that the thought likes or dislikes, I see the thought. So I see the thought, so who is closer, the thought to me or the one who sees to me?
Yeah, the sees, no? When you see the thought, it's because you are not the thought, no?
Yes.
It's the...
So because I'm the seer, and I never can be anything other than the seer. So it's the most intimate, primary, first experience. Yet it is not an experience of the mind. Because the mind experiences itself as what?
The mind is like, they think to it the self. No?
It
The mind,
experiences itself, even in the thoughts, as an object.
a body.
Yes, an object. Even in the mind, in the conceptual image, it experiences the thought as an object. So when it thinks about other objects in the mind, it experiences these other objects, these other thoughts as objects. Just like in the waking state, it does it in the dream. Because in the dream, it's only thoughts, only mental images. And then there is the experience that I am an object in the dream, a physical body, experiencing, seeing, talking, feeling other objects in the dream. So the mind perceives itself or experience itself in the thoughts as object, as an object. And the moment it perceives itself as an object, it experiences all other thoughts as objects too. Once we can see it, when one starts to examine, discriminate, or inquire, it inquires to see if what appears to be an object, is it really an object? is the conceptual image of somebody, is it really the somebody?
No, no.
It's the conceptual image about me as a physical body. Is it me and is it the physical body?
No, only concept image.
Yes. So this is how the power of illusion.
Wow, wow, wow.
Also here, we give a nice example of discrimination. He says, everybody consider the body as I. I am walking, I am sitting, I am the body who is experiencing different experience. And now he says, okay, let's consider this about the body. It cannot be the I, because everybody talks about his body apart from that. Means I'm talking about the body. The I is talking about it, therefore it is not it. If I talk about my neighbors, it's obvious that I'm not the neighbors. If I'm
So
talking, yes.
Sorry. When we're talking about my body, it's not my. It's separate. It's not my
The
body.
one who is thinking about the body is not the body. The body doesn't have any thought. It doesn't think. Now he continues. He says, apart from that, it has been born without having asked its I beforehand. It didn't ask the thought I, can I be born? Then he says, and it shall die without asking the I, whether it agrees to it or not. So he's pointing, the body is a biological phenomena that happens. It never asks the approve of the thought I, whether it likes it or not. And he continues, and in between it is living, the body, without any consideration for the I. So when the body is sick, it doesn't ask the thought I, is that okay with you? Do you really mind if I get sick right now? Even if you don't like it, is it okay? It doesn't ask permission from the thought, from that I, is it okay or not? And if we pay close attention, that I almost in the beginning constantly fights with the body. It wants to experience something different from the body. It wants the body to be different. Yeah? Taller, shorter, thinner, fatter, healthier. It wants from the body to have more energy. And when it has too much energy, it wants it to have less energy. It's always opposing the body. So that's a proof that that I is not the body. Because if it was the body, it would be one with it.
No, no need, they don't need ¿cómo se dice? Interlocutor, no, in the uh, the self and the body, we can be now one, no? The self and the body without thoughts.
Yes. Awareness and the body are not separate, because awareness permeates, goes in every thought and every cell of the body, because it permeates every object of the world. Like space. Space is within everything, and every object is within space. So the thoughts are within awareness, and awareness is within the thought. The body is inside awareness, and awareness is inside the body. Yet, awareness has no relationship, neither with thought, nor a physical body, and a thought and a physical body are never affecting awareness, because awareness is changeless. It is the ground that never moves, that on it or within it a thought appear and disappear. Sensation come and go. Feeling arise, stay for some time and subside. Perception are perceived. Sense of perception. All in the ground of awareness, or in the field of awareness. This is why we can say there are apparently three fields, yet in truth there is only one field. One field that is apparently, it's the field of the body, the physical body. Then we have the field of the mind, which is thoughts. And then we have the field of awareness, which is the only real substance, vibration, life. And within this field of awareness, the field of the mind appears. And the field of the body appears within the field of the mind, which the field of the mind appears within the field of awareness.
But the only real is the field of the awareness.
Yes.
Campo de la conciencia.
Yes. Because
This is
your direct experience too.
The other two are imaginarious.
What we call the body, the field of the body is inside the field of the mind, and the field of the mind is images, thoughts, concepts, beliefs. This field of the mind is inside the field of awareness. The more you watch closely the field of the mind, you come to realize that it's non-existent. It is illusory, imaginary. It means it appears, yet the content is non-existent.
That's why when you dream, you can dream a lot, whatever you want in a dream, and the body is just an image.
Yes, because in the dream, it's what we call a subtle body. There is no gross body because we don't, the five senses are closed, and the body is an object of these five senses.
And when you're in coma, there is no mind, there is no just conscience, all the field of the conscience.
Consciousness, yes.
Consciousness.
Yet, in deep sleep, there is still a dullness, a veiling. So it's not consciously experienced. There is something that still covers awareness from a point of view of ignorance, not from the point of view of awareness. So when awareness wakes itself up to itself or reveals itself, then it's omnipresent, always lasting through the waking state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep state. And in the beginning, the way we can understand it is that in the waking state, I'm aware. I'm aware of thoughts. I'm aware of sensations. I'm aware of feelings, which are reactivity of the body to a thought. And I'm aware of the 5 sense of perceptions, which perceives the objects of the world. In the dream state, the mind is dreaming, and I think I'm an individual entity, yet I am actually watching it. So everyone experiences that they are aware of the dream, yet out of ignorance they identify themselves as the dreamer going through experiences in the dream. Yet everyone is looking at the dream. Everyone is watching the dreamer going through these dream experiences. Yet, because of ignorance, I identify myself as the one who is the conceptual image that is relating to other conceptual images in the dream. In the deep sleep state, the I thought subsides, and I'm aware that it is gone. And the proof I have for that is that when I wake up, I recognize that I don't know what happened. Means I wasn't there. How do I know that I wasn't there? Isn't it something so, the absence of thought? That which continuously exists. Now we see it in the waking state. When you don't have a thought, how do you know you don't have a thought?
Because you are consciente.
That means that consciousness or awareness is aware even when there is no thought. And then the mind comes and reports and says, I didn't have any thought.
Yes, yeah.
So awareness is always present. That's why they use the word omnipresent. Everlasting awareness. It's permanent. It's not come and go. It does not appear and disappear. It does not change. It's permanently present and aware. And the truth is, when the forgetfulness disappears, then the ultimate truth is that presence of awareness is only aware of itself. It is not aware of a thought even. The only reason it seems like awareness is aware of a thought is because awareness is self-luminous. It is the source of light. So when a thought appears in the presence of the light, that thought is shining or seen because or due to the light of awareness. So awareness is illuminating itself, and everything else means every thought that appears. I would stay with every thought. I won't even go to any other further movement.
And the mind, the consciousness always be there and always is consciousness, of course. But the mind is appears and say is conscious and disappear. But when appear again, is to start to say, okay, was conscious for that, or I was always want to say the being, or he want to you think to the true being is the ego or the mind. Always be there, no? And when you don't know to the mind is only thoughts, when you are conscious for something without thought, when the thoughts appear, say, okay, we was conscious about that, but always is the mind will say something.
It's like, I am aware, a thought appears, the mind says, the thought says, I'm the one who's aware. Awareness doesn't say it. It is just aware. And then the mind comes as the I and says, I, the thought, and the real I, they are apparently the same I. So I am aware not as a thought, and the mind comes and says, I am the one who is aware. So I'm aware of the thought, and then I'm aware of the bodily sensation, the energy. I'm aware of the feelings. I'm aware of the sense of perception, the objects of the world. So I am the one who is, I am awareness actually. Because if we go back to superimposition, and we look what superimposition is, the I thought on awareness present it as I. So the I thought present itself as I, ego. It says, I, here I am, on awareness or within awareness. And then it presents itself, and then it make awareness look that it is not different than that thought I. And not only that, it make awareness look not different than the thought I. It actually thinks that awareness is the thought I. So I is the real I, and there is the thought I. And suddenly the thought I says, here I am, because awareness doesn't say anything. So the I can say anything, and awareness will keep silently aware. And then the I says, hey, look, I am no different than you, awareness, and actually you, which is silent, you cannot speak, I'll speak for you. You are I, so I am you. So I'm aware. So I'm aware, it superimposed, it put itself on that thought I, and now it does it on the body. Now it says, hey, I am the body, because the body is like awareness, never say anything. It doesn't really care. It says, I am the body. And by the way, because you as the body, you never speak. So you as the body is I, no different than the I. And you as the body is I. Okay, so I'm running the show now as I, as a thought. Here I go. I begin. I'm a conscious entity and I exist because of awareness, yes? And I am awareness. So, and I am the body, and the body is I, so the body exists as I. So I exist as the body too. And I am the body and I'm conscious, so the body is conscious, and because I am the body, so I am a conscious entity. And then I would derive happiness from objects because I'm an object. So now I'm starting to look for happiness through the objects of the world. And because I forgot who I am, basically I can never remember who I am either. Because the thought I does not know awareness. So what happens when the thought I disappears? Awareness knows itself. This is everyone's experience. I ask them, what was your experience when you had no thought? Then the thought report the experience, yet the thought that reports never can report the experience itself. It just reports very close to the experience. Who was aware of that when there was no thought? It's awareness itself. So awareness knows itself by itself. It doesn't need a thought. The thought, when it appears, it forgets. This is why the I thought has to subside in awareness. It has to rest in awareness. And the knowingness of awareness shine through. Because if the I thought appears, it forgets instantaneously awareness. Because it doesn't know awareness. So as long as it appears, it plays itself out in ignorance. And it is looking for knowledge and to know the objects of the world because it is looking for knowing the self. Yet it can never know the self. It's like a vicious imaginary cycle. When the I subsides, the self knows itself by itself. And this is one when there is the experience of the sense of I am, which is not a thought. The mind comes and says, wait a minute, I gotta experience it. I gotta find it. I have to know it. I have to understand it. This is what it is looking for. Yet, in order to know awareness, it needs to disappear. And then awareness knows itself. The I thought cannot know awareness. When it knows awareness, it's the arrogance of the ego, objectifying awareness like any other object it does.
And the mind do a really big mix, no? And really mix, and it's really difficult to see your real consciousness because the mind do a really big mix. I am the consciousness, I am the body, I am the proof, I have the proof to I am conscious, I have the proof to I am the body, I am I am
a real entity. Because
I am a real entity and a separate entity.
Yes, I am a real separate entity. Because it gets the light of the reality, which is the sense of I, through inside that thought, right? That light of awareness is inside every thought. So then the thought appears to have reality of its own. And this illusion has to be seen. It has to be seen. And it can only be seen on the subtle, on the thoughts and awareness. It can never be seen on the objects of the world.
Yes, for that the knowledge. Without the knowledge, is always you go out, no? You go out to finding the object of the world or something like that. Because with the knowledge you can see, no? You can see the mind. You can see the thoughts and the
all the process that the mind, you see all the process that describe perfectly in I,
Because knowledge is more subtle than the ego. So therefore it brings more light into a place that there was dark prior to that. And darkness is absence of light. So when you bring light, or when the light can shine through a crack into a dark room, the room starts to be lit, have more and more light. The knowledge is closer to awareness. So it brings that light into the place that there is darkness.
And
Darkness
with the knowledge,
brings light.
sorry, they wake up the body or start to
Yes.
question the mind, and you start to see.
And start to see, because as we listen, it's like the one who talks and the one who hears both listen at the same time, or for the first time. If you can follow, you can actually see. This seeing, this means there's more inner light. That prior to that seeing, there was no light there.
Es decir,
This is why the wise point over and over again that just as fire is the cause of cooking, knowledge and no any other means is the cause for liberation. Means you cannot cook without fire. Whatever it is, whether you use the sun or you use any. So without knowledge, if we look at the sentence, just as fire is the cause of cooking, knowledge and no any other means is the cause of liberation. And the wise point that hearing the knowledge is to hear it over and over and over again. If we look at the path of inquiry into the self, in the non-dual he points inquiry is the means of knowledge, and it consists in hearing the truth, reflection, and meditation. Only the state of blissful peace, of awareness, in which the self alone exists and nothing else, is the true nature of knowledge. The non-revival of the not of the ego, parading, presenting itself as I, which has been lost once for all, is its effect. Always to remain fixed as I am the Supreme Self, just as strongly, unerringly, as here or as before, like the ignorant identification, I am the body, is its end. Liberation is fruit. From this, it follows that only hearing, reflection, meditation, and blissful peace is the inquiry into the self. And he's pointing, and we can open it, that hearing over and over and over, it removes the ignorance, because the hearing is like brings inner light, and the light removes whatever is still dark. So when the dark is removed, then the prana inside knows where to go again to see. It's like, if I'll take it into the analogy of object, if I go to one place and I went there, I probably would have a memory how to go there again. If I don't, when I go there again, if by help of somebody that already went there, the next time I have more confidence that I can go there again. That's the second time. If I don't, I get mixed up until I find my way and I go there the third time. The more I go there, eventually, I have no doubt, I know how to go there. The mind internally has to learn to go and examine itself and look all the places and inquire and discriminate and really see. The more it goes and sees, it's just like going to another place. Okay? If you never go and see, and I tell you just go to that place, you might never go there and you might never find it. So it's the same analogy, just like it happens on the external world. If we want to go somewhere and we don't know exactly, we need some guidance, we need a map, we need directions, we need signposts, we need guidance or somebody to take us there. Yet sometimes one time getting there would not be enough for me to comprehend the way exactly. I maybe have to go there again and again. And we never know how long it takes for the mind to go there on the subtle. So as long as it goes there again and again and again, eventually it knows exactly where to go and see. Exactly how to inquire into one's true nature.
Yes, and for example, for me, cada vez to listen to recordings always is something new, or no, or maybe not more profound. Always is something to think before to understand. But listen again and again, always is more profound.
Yes.
That means more deep, not profound.
Yeah, it's just like the example of going to that place physically. Yet now we're journeying internally. It's going in again to see and going in to see. So if I go, let's say, to the top of a mountain, in the beginning, I'm focused just to remember and notice some things on the way. The more I go up, the more details I see every day. Also the changes on the way to the mountain. Yet the first time as I go, I won't see it. I won't notice all these small details on the way. And because externally is no different, it's just an echo of the internal. It has to be internal, and we have to remember that we're dealing with a power that is elusive. It's like magic. It plays tricks. It instantly appears and disappears. It plays all kind of maneuvers and games internally to present itself to be real. So it has to be again to be seen over and over again. This is why the one who is really serious about the search, about inquiry into one's true nature, he has to take in hearing it, going in every day, every day. It's not, cannot be a part-time job. It cannot. It's a joke. It's the mind likes to fool itself and says, yeah, I will do this and this and this and this, and by the way, I will do some inner work as well. And usually it will put that the last. So if I'm tired today, tomorrow, although there's no tomorrow, I imagine there is tomorrow, so tomorrow, later. And this is how it postpones it. And the one who really is sincere and serious, earnest, and something pulls them in, they recognize they cannot make it a part-time job. They have to make it their main focus in their life, the only focus in their life. It doesn't mean other things don't appear and disappear. It means that whatever appears and disappears are just displays, distractions, testing your ability, how firm and determined and conviction you are not to follow it, get lost in a dream. And bringing the mind to rest, gradually resting in awareness, not forcing. You can't force resting, because people are mistaken and they think, okay, I'm not tired, go to sleep now. Now force yourself falling asleep. Impossible. You cannot make the mind relax into awareness from the mind. The more you see that the thoughts are not real and and awareness shine through, the glimpses start to shine through, and you're interested in awareness, then the mind is start to rest. The less you follow the desires to the external objects of the world, because you see the defects, you don't feed the energy there. You don't give it attention. Then it gets weaker and weaker. And as it gets weaker, the mind can rest. Once it rests, awareness, which is you, shine through. I'll read just one more part from Annamalai. He's talking about this very clearly. He spent very close to Ramana, about 16 years or so, or I don't know, many years. And this book is a nice. It's called the Final Talks. It's his last 6 months before the body dropped, and at the end he basically Ramana told him, go leave, be. Although Ramana used to almost daily visit him, yet he told him, move, go away, and he helped him to find a place so he can relax into the self. And first of all, I'll read one thing, because they ask him, He's pointing, just keep quiet, make contact with the silence of the self within. This is the way of making contact with your true self. And it is also the best attitude to have when you are sitting in the presence of the self. And yes.
Can you repeat?
Just keep quiet. Make contact with the silence of the self within. This is the way to make contact with your true self. And it is also the best attitude to have when you're sitting in his presence. And they asked him, one of the persons, the question asked him, I want to ask Swamiji about his own experience. Was his own experience a single event, an explosion of knowledge, or did it happen more gradually, in a more subtle way? Annamalai Swami answered, it was my experience that through continuous inquiry, I gradually relaxed into the self. It was a gradual process. It means the mind gradually relaxed into awareness. And then awareness was holding its attention on itself. You cannot force relaxation of relaxing the mind. It's impossible. Yeah? Because any force is a movement. And movement appears within that which never moves. So movement cannot gain that which never moves. The movement has to disappear, dissolve into that which never moves.
Alon, sorry, but I need to go to pay some workers.
Yes. So we can stop